Story time. When I was in middle school, I went to L.B. Clark Middle School, Two Rivers Public Schools in Two Rivers, Wisconsin. Notoriously terrible school. A fun fact, when I was in reading class, the person that sat next to me was going to rehab for heroin use at the age of 12, I believe, or however old you are when you're in 7th grade, I don't really remember. That was not uncommon. So 7th grade was a tumultuous time for Caleb. I had relatively strict parents, but I mean they were pretty generous and they were very reasonable people. But I was not a good person per se in the normal sense of the word good. I would do some questionable things when I would go out. And one day at school I was messing around with I wouldn't say they were friends, but people that I would see when I would go out and like hang around with at times, and may have started some trouble, gotten into a physical altercation, you could call it, and essentially the end result was I got suspended from school, which my parents, that blew their mind. Like the fact that I was capable of doing something that could get me suspended, it was a shock, which goes to show how good I was at hiding what kind of person I was at the time. I got suspended on a Friday, or on a Thursday, so that Friday I wasn't supposed to go to school. That Friday, we toured a Catholic school, and that Monday I was attending said Catholic school. And I went from a class size of about 90 to a class size of, I believe it was 13. And I walked into that school and sat down in my only class because there was 13 kids, so you didn't go from class to class. You as a class went from teacher to teacher. And I remember at one point, being a 7th grade prick, I made a "that's what she said" joke. So I said "that's what she said," and I got crickets, like nothing. I got blank stares. And then quietly one of the cute little Catholic boys says, "What does that mean?" And I bent over and I just shook my head, and I realized that this was going to be a culture shock. And it was incredibly refreshing looking back, and the impact that it had on my life is unbelievable. The track I would be on now if I had never gone to Catholic school, I can't even imagine what I would be like now. It really helped me define who I am as a person, not by the people I'm around, but who I am and what I do and what I believe in. And another thing about that Catholic school is I really, really discovered art there. Like, I had drawn before, but I wasn't like crazy into it. I would do it every once in a while. But the art teacher there was phenomenal, and they just showed me what a beautiful medium art can be in expressing yourself. And that's when I really started to fall in love with the idea of like illustrations and drawing. And that's when I started to get really interested in animation, which, I mean, I'm going to college for animation now, which if you had told that to public school Caleb, he would have laughed in your face and then spit in his hand and give you a wet willy or something, I don't know.